Hello, welcome everyone back to another edition of Energy Unleashed. My name is Suzanne Worthley with my co-host who is up at the cabin, Kim
Yeah.
Hess.
Hello,
Can't tell
everybody.
with the moose in the background or anything that we're in Minnesota. You kind of look like you have the antlers right now, so that's cute.
Yeah. Should I just need
No,
to be taller?
it's awesome. So, how's the weather up there?
Very windy and
Yeah.
chilly. Yeah, the wind has been crazy, but man, the Eagles are still going nuts.
Yep,
It's
and
so
we
fun to see.
are we are recording on Equinox. Don't know when this comes out, probably next week or after, but it is the actual Equinox today, the 19th.
hmm
And are you feeling that the energy up there in the wind has anything to do with the so-called winds of change?
I last night I went out and stood in the grass with bare feet in
Oh my
25-degree
God.
weather.
I was gonna say it's because I literally we're neighbors up there for those of you that might not know us yet, and at our cabins. And I was up there just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and it was freezing.
It was, yeah, and the wind was like 40-mile-an-hour gust. And I just
Yeah,
stood there with my arms out. I'm like, all
yeah,
right, because I've had this little thing going on, and I'm like, just blow it out of my system. Let's do
great.
this.
Blow out the
And
crud.
yeah, and it was a beautiful sunset last night, which is really
Nice.
fun too. Yeah. But today I felt I didn't sleep well last night. I was coughing quite a bit, but I just felt buzzy.
Mm.
Um, I don't know, in my like my arms and my legs and stuff, I just felt really buzzy, and my mind was buzzy. Like there was just like
Okay.
like you take like having coffee before bed or something is what it felt like, which I didn't do. But um
Interesting.
I don't know what that was all about, but I got up several times and looked out the window. It was super dark because it was cloudy,
Hmm.
which is always kind of creepy because you can't see anything.
But it's
Like,
wicked cool up at the cabin when those dark black clouds come in and it just looks
ooh,
ominous. I think that's one of my favorites up there, but
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
yeah. So then I just felt not energized as much as tired today. Like there was
Okay.
just a lot during the night, which kind of caught up with me, I think, is what's going on. But
Well, I did a teeny bit of ritual in terms of doing some sage and saged my whole house. I figured what the heck and went on a rampage with that. But pulled some cards and I did a quick Instagram saying that it is Equinox and technically it is at 10:30 or 10:40 tonight.
mhm.
And so I think I might make my way outside and do a little moon work if you can even see one down here if it's not terribly cold. But yeah, it feels I have been way too 3D today to tap into it a ton other than
Mhm.
those little efforts. And that's kind of actually what I want to talk about today because I had a client the other day that was very interesting in that super type A driven lists for my lists, the whole 9 yards, right? And we were talking a lot about working with the flow of the universe and much more, balancing out that male energy of that driven gotta go
Mhm.
and being the human being instead of the human doing list.
Mhm.
And it was interesting because she kind of sat back and went, well, okay, but like I still got to get shit done. And it was so cute because I'm like, I think that's something to really talk about. It
Yeah.
isn't that we don't throw away our personality. I'm a to-do list person.
Mhm.
I don't make as many as I used to, but I'm not as chaotic as I used to either. But I still literally will make a list to go to the grocery store, especially up north when I don't know what we've got and blah, blah.
Mhm.
I mean, I do lists. So we don't throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater and change our personality per se. We just do it differently. Do
Yeah.
you still do your lists? I mean, you were a list freak.
I was a list freak, list upon list upon list. Like, where's the list of my list? Because I had so many lists going. I
You
just
had like
was like,
flow charts of lists.
I had seriously, but I led a project management team of like 80 people. So what do you
Yeah.
do? This is how life goes. And my family was so excited when I quit using a spreadsheet with the things that we need to do.
Like it's Christmas. You're on this at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But I do, when I have a lot coming up, like a holiday or we're going to travel or something like that, I do need to write some things down because I just don't remember it all anymore.
Right.
I just can't. And going to the grocery store, I actually have to, I like to write it down because if I forget the list, it's amazing how much I can remember after I write it down. But
Yeah.
I really like the list and I do it by the grocery store so I don't waste a lot of time in the grocery store. It's like a time
Yep.
saver for me.
Yep. I do acronyms at the grocery store, just a grocery shopping hack, as they would call it. So like if I had to get bananas and apples and dog food, right? I would
Yeah.
go in with the acronym of BAD.
Oh, got
I'm
it.
walking around, I'm like,
Got it.
bad. And then I'm like, B. But sometimes it gets hard because I'm like, was B for bread? But most of the time, if I make a silly acronym, I can
Yeah.
remember almost everything I have on the list, and I can get some pretty long acronyms, but I still do the list thing for that. So what I wanted to say about this concept is that we still are going to be navigating in a 3D world no matter what we do for quite some time. These are 26,000 year periods that we're dealing with here, people. So we're not like, floating on rainbows just because we're finding flow. When we're talking about getting a spiritual flow in your life and really, pulling back on the chaos, that doesn't mean that we don't have literal things we have to accomplish and do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really about the fuel behind it. And I watched you caught yourself because you weren't going to say, I have to make a list or I have to buy that. It isn't that I have to, need to, can't, should. It's that I'm
No.
choosing to make the list because now at this age, I can't remember a dang thing anyway. So, I mean, it's like choices are
Mm-hmm.
different. Therefore, the fuel behind the action is different. That's the purpose of the spiritual growth, if that makes some sense.
Yeah, I think what's different, like you said, we used to be, I have to have a list and it needs to go this way. For me now, it's more about my brain works differently. I don't hold all the stuff in my brain anymore. Like I
Right.
would hold on to things in my head for days and days and days until I got it done. I don't do that like that anymore.
That's
I've
super
released,
interesting to bring up. That's great.
yeah, yeah.
So what does
I've
that
just
feel like?
It's oh gosh, it's less stressful, that's for sure. It
Right.
really allows me to get up, kind of enjoy the moments, when you get up and you have your little routine and whatever that is. I don't wake up at 2 in the morning think about those things anymore. I may wake up and have weird dreams or experiences about other things, but
Mhm.
not about what I have to do. And that was my life for years and years and years in the corporate world, was waking up at 2 in the morning. Oh my God, I got to remember to do this. I have to remember to do that. I want to talk to this person. I got to take care of that. And then in the shower, I got to do this and I got to do that. And I got to make sure. And um, all those experience that's just not how I think about those things anymore. It's not there.
And it
By
gives you a sense
writing,
of freedom, right? I mean, it's
it
free.
does. And it writes down, like if I'm going to meditate and I've got a couple things on my mind, I will write those things down, put the piece of paper away, and then it allows me to really focus on what I'm meditating or what needs to happen at that time or what
Yep.
I would like to have happen. And but it took me a while to figure that out because I was so wrapped in that whole like gerbil wheel of do.
It's
And
rumination too. I could have done this, or should I do it this way or this way or this way? And you go, I have an option of A to Z on what I can do, so the brain never stops. I
mhm,
think it's a really good point that you brought up, that you write it down before you meditate. I oftentimes tell my clients too, write it down before you go to bed so that you don't have
mhm,
to ruminate in the bed when you're in that dream phase too, because the same thing can happen there. And so that
mhm.
changes the sleep pattern as well.
It
So
does.
it's
Yeah.
it's really all about the fuel on what you're doing and why you're doing it. And we can indeed still delegate and have things done, but I'm finding the push behind it, when we don't have the words have to and need to, the push behind it energetically isn't the same. And I mean, even I had a huge bash recently for my folks and for their birthdays turning 90 and 91. And I just didn't care. I mean, granted, it was mostly my family and extended people that we, know and love and probably don't feel judged about, but I didn't really care about getting on my knees and making sure that there wasn't, spider webs under the blah blah. I just didn't care. So not that my house is a pit, but I just don't go to the extent of the pushing anymore. It's just
Yeah.
more like that's not what this is about. What this is about is we're darn lucky that we have a 90-year-old and a 91-year-old to even
Isn't
celebrate,
it amazing? Yes. Yes.
right? And so I
Yeah.
think the push is what is different. And it's really important for us to understand that when we're making this so-called effort to change how we work. And
Mhm.
it does it organically, like you said. The more we get crap out of our head, the hamster wheel
Mhm.
slows down and down, and then the literal hamster just goes away and dies, thank God, and the wheel, God knows where. But I think it's important for us to make concrete, intentional steps to go, I'm also not going to put up with that anymore. I
Mhm.
did find myself
Mhm.
ruminating one night and I'm like, absolutely not. So I did get up out of bed. I wrote it all down. I'm like, you're done with that crap. You're not doing that. That's the so-called old Suzanne way of doing things. And we're not doing that. We're not doing
Mhm.
that. And so we can, I think, make concrete steps to change with intention.
Yes, absolutely. It's just it's an easier way of life. It's less stressful. And
Hmm.
so you don't have those moments of like, it's not panic, but it's that like, oh, oh no, I meant to do that today. I didn't get to it. Like so what? It'll be
Yeah.
there tomorrow. It's gonna
Yeah.
be there.
They're just dishes, right? I
Yeah,
mean, they're
right.
just dishes. But
Yeah.
when every single solitary fork in the house is still sitting there, it might be time to kick the husband in the rear. Might have to delete that. Yeah, just dishes, Suzanne.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, and it is. It's a little hard because we will get a 3D day like I started mine out doing taxes with the
Mhm.
CPA this morning, and then moved
Yeah.
into something else for work, and then moved into, oh crap, I didn't get this posted. And so I was like gung, 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 gung. And in the back of my head, it's like, oh, but I should just run outside and get, 30 seconds of sunshine on my, skin. And so you can do it the other way where you're pushing yourself, I should to be spiritual. So it works on both sides. Do you see what
It
I'm saying?
does. It
It
does.
because I was so 3D, I had to fit in the spiritual, and that's stupid too. So instead, I just stood in the parking lot in Cub and stared up into the sun like this with my eyes closed and just like, oh, take some of that D in.
God, it feels so good.
You can fit
Even
it
though it's
in
like,
somewhere.
yeah, the wind is so crazy, but at the same time, it's so refreshing to like, it feels like it does clean out the cobwebs, cleans
Yes.
out the stuff. So,
Yes.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
Equinox, do you feel like you are focusing on what you're letting go and bringing in?
Before we got on this call, I have not during the day. I've just been kind of putzing around and
Hmm.
not really feeling like, but I do have cards with me. So I'm going to pull a
Okay.
few cards. And we can't have fires right now because the wind is like so
Yeah.
crazy and it's so dry up here.
Yeah.
But I thought I would just burn it in the little stove here.
I was gonna say you got
Whatever.
your wood burner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did do my to-do list for Equinox. So that again, we can merge these kinds of sides of us together. And I did do 3 different lists. I did some things that are really bugging me, that I really want to let go of. I did some things that are really irritating me about things or people or situations. And then I
Mhm.
did the things that I want to bring in, etc. And I just took my big conch shell or my abalone shell and did the burn there with the sage and the this and the that. I had quite a
Mhm.
little flame going, but as long as you're not, I was under the fan on high and the smoke alarm was fine. So I think that those are always possible, and we can just kind of tailor make the way that we do things and not feel pressured to actually have to do something because it's equinox either. I think
Yeah.
these are all organically felt if we do it the way that it's
Mhm.
supposed to.
I also feel like this is just the start of
Tip of the
spiritually doing
the
things.
tip of
Yeah,
the
like,
iceberg. Oh shit.
oh, I know because I really like I know like this next 30 days or so or longer is going to be really different. And
Yeah.
I think along the way it's going to be important to stick to I would like to pursue sticking with my journaling and when things come up, take care of them at that time. Because
Mm.
I think it's easy to fall away from some of the meditation and the journaling and the different things when you get busy. And I really think it's going to be important to stick with something, whatever you're used to doing, and really intent those things as you go through the next period of time. And I don't know how long that is, but it feels like it's going to be a little while.
And yet be flexible. And I think this is the most important thing I was working with the client with. And I just hung up from an interview that I did on another podcast right before this, and I said it on there. We also want to be flexible in that I was telling her I'm waking up an hour and a half earlier and doing massive reading and the yoga sutras, and let's sit with this concept and meditate, and I'm totally into it. I love it. It's my quiet time, and then I work on my own body, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But holy crap, I woke up I don't know, it was like 2 days ago or whatever day ago, and right before we went to the cabin, in fact. And I was so flippin' tired that I'm
Mm,
like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna and it's
yeah.
important to watch the barometer of the body because our bodies are going to be going through a ringer in terms of these upsy downsy energies. And she and I were just talking about this other podcast gal named Julia, and she said, I same age, same a lot of the same work. And she's like, I am finding myself just like exhausted in the middle of the day and I just take a cat nap or whatever. And I have
Hmm.
never done that in all of my years until probably the last 2 years. I'm finding myself going, I just need 20 minutes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm turning into a 90-year-old. Oh my God, oh my God. And then I get really freaked out, right? No, no, I can't be that. So these are the same things we're doing with the to-do list and the judgments. The fuel behind it is you have no fuel, Suzanne. This
Yeah.
is telling you that your body is on literal empty. So stop the madness for 20 minutes and refuel, and that's
Yeah.
okay. So judgment on yourself during these times is really maybe wanting to go on the back of the closet because it shouldn't be out in front. It's just
Well,
not.
I totally agree with that. And maybe talk a little bit about the symptoms again, because I think with the solar flares and, the Schumann
Yeah.
resonance and some of those things, every day is a little different,
Yeah.
based on what's going on.
And it's really crazy. I have now decided there's nothing that needs to be a protocol. We were talking about
Mm,
this on the other podcast as well. The protocols are gone out the window because what you just said, one day it's this, the next day it's this. One day that supplement might be really awesome for me, and the next day it might not do a dang thing.
mhm,
And by day four, it might be just making my stomach sick. And when it started, it was great, but this is a whole different day and a whole
right.
different energy field. So I'm finding also that, oh, you're supposed to take that supplement this amount 2 times a day at this time and this time. I don't do any of that anymore. I just check in and I'm like, I'm skipping that tonight. I'm not doing that. And it seems to be easier. Some of the things that are coming back are the body aches, and so be aware of that. I was
Mm,
doing awesome and great on, moving and exercising. And then of course, when I broke my wrist, that kind of like took a screeching halt, and now it's back on track. And oh my gosh, now I'm starting over and I feel 100. Well, I also feel 100 because the solar flares and the Schumann are killing you.
yeah,
So when
right.
these pulses are pummeling our bones and our body, it's important for us to understand I do feel 100 today. And then the next day, I might drop 3 pounds and feel like I'm 40. So they're going to be all over the board. So don't stick to thinking one thing works, is what I'm getting at. It's really
Yeah.
important. Headaches have been off the charts for me. I mean, I have headaches every day anyway. We know that, whoever knows me, but my extra headaches on top of it have been really, really, really off the charts and consistently on for quite some time for me. So I don't know if that's because of the solar stuff. That usually means astrological activity for me because I'm so electric
Hmm.
energy. So with all this crap that's going on in the cosmos, my head is a mess. Eyes are a mess. I
Great.
literally I literally left you what 4 days ago, and this morning I'm waking up going, okay, I kind of have a sore throat. And I'm like, dang it, Kim. And then I'm like, yeah, but sore throats are also coming and going because this whole area is changing on people. So I'm just slapping thieves on it and going on my merry way, thinking, no, it's just also assumption symptoms.
Yep.
So do your best to check in with the human body. Don't be an idiot. If you really need Western medicine help, go get it. But most of the time, this is going to be ascension stuff that they're not going to be able to give you anything for or find anything about, because this is upsy downsy all over the board, and every human body is going to be doing it different. But tired, head, eyes, throat, a lot of stuff in the throat because we're trying to speak up, a lot of bone aching, joint aching, a lot of knees again, and ankles, and butt area,
Hmm.
sciatica area. Really, really traveling too. Like, oh my gosh, I just had this hurting, and then the next day that was fine, but this hurts. And so it's like the traveling menace in the body. And those are really what I'm hearing very consistently from clients. I'm not hearing as much of brain fog as I was before. That isn't something I'm hearing on a consistent basis
Hmm.
any longer. I am not hearing rapid pulses and heart stuff as much as I was. I am hearing itching quite a bit, which is interesting, myself included. Like I'm throwing Benadryl in me periodically, which I don't
Hmm.
normally do. So those are all kind of the things that I am
I've had a
remember.
lot of tingling up here, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stuff right there. But oh,
I-
and the headaches. But I've got this whatever is hanging on. I think that because of what's going on, it's my body's really struggling to just kick it all the way out, or to transform it, I guess, and
Yep.
let it go. So
And the particular crud that you seem to be dealing with is very common for a lot of people that I know that are also having it, having it, having it. Then it starts to go away, it starts to go away. And right when you think, yeah, then all of a sudden the next day it's
mhm,
coming back and you're like, are you kidding me?
yeah,
So, some people are saying antibiotics work. Some people are saying they don't. Some people are saying it's lingering for 5 weeks and then goes away for one and comes back for three. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's just all over the board. And I don't think
mhm,
it's anything that has an answer.
yeah, I
Isn't that a
agree.
great answer?
No, it's not a great answer.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting.
It is.
So again, make it not like the have to, need to, can't, shoulds. Really, really check in with the body. And I get to actually slow down today, or I get to take 15 minutes outside because I'm choosing to, is really the
Mhm.
impetus versus that pushing. So staying in the flow of what is happening without judgment and just being curious, I think is what's going to get us through this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I agree. I had my little lesson a couple weeks ago of going.
Talk about a to-do list. I mean, yours was this long. It was unreal. But I
I
mean,
know.
sometimes that's the way it is because we still have to do human things like make a flight, make sure this car is there, and blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. I mean, that is logistical nightmare stuff that doesn't go away in this world. So
Right.
again, I want to reiterate that isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the fuel behind it, the consciousness and the connection with
Mhm.
the intention that is pushing the vehicle. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good.
Cool.
It's all
All
good.
right.
Yes.
Anything else on this big long list?
Oh gosh, don't make me make don't, I'm not making a list.
All right. Okay, everybody, if you like this, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, maybe share it with a friend if you choose to, which we hope you do. Maybe leave a comment, and we love being here for you. And so until next time, Cosmic Hugs.
Goodbye. Oops.
Bye.